I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Council of the Village of Chase to be held here at the Council Chamber of the Village Office, 826 Okanagan Avenue, and via Zoom on June 10th, 2025 at 4 p.m. to order. Number 2, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Herman, Councillor Stevens. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Number 3, adoption of minutes, 3.1 minutes of the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting. Councillor Stevens.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Torban. Any discussion on that one? All in favor? And that's carried. No public hearings, so 5 public input on current agenda items. And just for people that are here for other things, but also 8.5, you'll have a chance to speak here, but you'll also have a chance to speak when we get to 8.5. Is that good for everyone? Okay. So, is there anybody who wishes to speak now on any items on this agenda? Yes, you can.
There was
She
one.
said we could talk.
Just one.
We can talk now or later.
Yeah, we can talk now or later.
Or both, I mean,
No, you
Later.
should be now, actually.
no.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just jump in here, it's Joni. If they wish to speak to item 8.5, it's best if we hear from them during that particular item.
Okay. Is there anybody that wants to speak about anything other than 8.5 at this time? Okay. We'll then move along. Number 6, delegations. We don't have any delegations. Number 7, reports, mayor and council reports. We have the mayor's, May 27th, I attended the Together Chase meeting. June 3rd, I went to the high school grade 7 science fair, and I was very impressed with some of the exhibits, and I have to admit I didn't understand some of them. June 3rd, later on, I attended the Festival Society meeting, great job there. And June 4th, I attended the Shuswap Watershed meeting in Salmon Arm. Councillor Connell.
Let's see, let me get the glasses. Council meeting, 27th and in-camera meeting. But I would like to ask Mike,
Do your report.
as I just did it.
Yeah, but then we'll come back,
All right.
if that works for you. Okay, Councillor Herman.
Okay, May 27th, regular Village of Chase Council meeting. May 29th, I attended Together Chase meeting at Curling Rink. June 2nd was the kickoff to the Bike to School Week at Haldane School, sponsored by the Chase Environmental Action Society. It was an exciting week with 37 plus riders every day, and many students and parents joined in. And considering that 2/3 of the kids come by bus to Haldane School, it was an amazing group of people that showed up. June 2nd was the Climate Action Committee meeting in the Village of Chase, great discussions taking place. Read the Village Tree Program for memorials or other events is in the works. Upcoming Climate Cafe regarding insurance woes in a warming climate. That'll be coming up in the fall. June 3rd, attended the Chase High School grade 7 science and art fairs. And I was also very impressed on the presentation by some of the kids that, and I like you, didn't understand all of it, but they had all their data right and everything. It was great. Also attended the Festival Society meeting that night. June 4th, I attended a meeting regarding info on the possible opening of the zip line. June 5th, shoveled and planted at the work bee for the Fire Smart Garden project at Curling Rink. Thanks to Public Works for their help in getting that site ready, and then to all the volunteers who showed up. There was Chase and Area Family Services and Communities in Bloom representatives, and the Chase Environmental Action Society. June 6th, I got dunked numerous times in the dunk tank at the Haldane School Jamboree. That was another amazing community event. The Haldane PAC group did a fantastic job. There was lots of people and lots of great fun games and events. June 7th, of course, had a fun time at the Legion Golf Tournament. And besides that, I met and spoke with several Chase residents who had ideas or concerns of events or policies within the village.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens.
Yeah, last regular meeting and in-camera meeting, the rec society meeting, and then other duties as applicable. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Torban.
May 27th, council meeting in camera, June 6th, attended the veterans dinner, honoring some of the veterans that fought in D-Day. I believe we only have one left, he's 96. And other than that, reviews, agenda, consult with staff as required, take inquiries from the public, and review and respond to emails.
Okay, thank you. We also have staff reports. And to the CAO, is there anything that you or your staff wishes to add to your reports, or?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything to add, and I will just ask if the CFO or our Public Works Manager or our Deputy Corporate Officer, if they have anything to add.
Nope, nothing for me.
I could give a quick verbal update since I was away last week and don't actually have a report on the agenda.
Perfect.
Some of the items that we tackled within May this year. The First Avenue water main, the design has been completed on that and it's actually out to tender right now. The Shepherd Road construction, the design for the construction there has been completed and the tender will be going out. Most people were probably unfortunately aware of the lagoon odors that we were dealing with in May, so we had the aerators cleaned and dealt with those odor issues. We did some tree removal at the Arbutus green space. Worked with the Chase Family Services on the Fire Smart Garden that we can see progressing beautifully over at the Curling Club. Bay Drive construction is coming to a completion. I've got a final inspection with the engineer of record and the contractor on this Thursday. Conducting staff interviews. We've filled a temporary labor position for the summer, as well as a promotion to lead hand position. We've been working hard within the Parks Department on getting our annual summer flowers and hanging baskets out. The hanging baskets went up, it was last Friday, 2 Fridays ago now. So everything around town is starting to look quite a bit better. Continuing on with parks maintenance, prepping the pool for opening. It generally opens on July 1st each year. We're going to try and have that ready to be open probably a week sooner than that this year. We'd like to get it even sooner sort of thing, but obviously when we do open these facilities early, we get requests every year for our parks bathrooms and that sort of stuff as well, but there are implications to my staff and budget implications when we do that. Been in contact with some different playground installers. As council's aware, we need to get that Rotary playground installed at Centennial Park, and then the Public Works Day event that was held back in May. And then just kind of the annual, the daily requests, service requests that come in, that sort of thing. So I think those were kind of the major issues that we tackled in May.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone on council that has questions for staff? Councillor
Yes,
Connor?
I would like to talk to Mike about the 20-kilometer-an-hour sign that they put on Bay Drive. It's stupid. This is plain as that, 20 kilometers an hour. Like I said before, you can't even plow snow at 20 kilometers an hour, it won't work. So, but in talking with you, you were saying that the engineer is going to be, you're going to be talking to the engineer that installed it. And from what I understand, only council can put up signs anyways.
So through the CAO, Council can definitely set speed limits anywhere within the community that that you so desire. As the engineer of record, for safety reasons, the engineer can still make recommendations. So as I mentioned, we do have the final inspection coming up on Thursday, so that's a couple of days away. I will have that discussion with the engineer to find out if it's actually necessary or not. I think if we look back to when the tender of this project was awarded, we did have two different costings. One of them to widen out the road on Bay Drive from its current width in one section is only about 5 meters wide. And to have a double lane road there, we need kind of at least 6 meters wide. So to do that, we could have put in a few $100,000 retaining wall, or we could look at what the engineer had recommended was a speed reduction and a yield to oncoming traffic sign. So obviously that was a lot cheaper of a solution, and it was done for financial reasons. And at this point in time, before we've even done the final inspection, I would say that it's premature to go in and pull anything out. But I will bring that up with the engineer of record and get their comments on it. And if council does not agree with their conclusions and what their recommendations are, council can make their own changes to the speed limits as you wish as well in the future, so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council to staff on their reports?
Well, he's already answered the question about the playground, so that was another one that you already answered that.
Any other questions?
No.
Anybody else? Motion to receive the reports for information, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Herman, all in favor? That's carried. Number 8, unfinished business, notice of motion, Councillor Stevens. Councillor Stevens to provide a motion that would change how council reports are presented. Councillor Stevens.
Sure, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council direct staff to bring forward a proposed amendment to the council procedure bylaw to remove council reports as a standing item on the agenda, on the regular meeting agenda, and that individual members of council may submit written updates to be included under staff reports or another appropriate section at their discretion.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Connett, discussion. Councillor Herman.
I just wanted to say that I agree with, like, it's kind of takes up a lot of time in a meeting for us to give our reports. And I was wondering about maybe if we could ask administration maybe to look at something like a quarterly or something that we submit to, like just written, like the staff does. Or, I mean, weekly too would be fine, but I don't know, I just thought it's sometimes kind of laborious to listen to all of this stuff that we do.
Yeah. Councillor Stevens.
Yeah, so, sorry, Councillor Herman, the second part of this motion is that council may submit written updates to be included under staff reports at their discretion. So, that covers it.
So I like where you're going, and I would be okay with us doing our reports like staff does. My one concern I have at this time is we all sit on committees representing the village. And how would that get reported back to council? And I could see maybe, I'm okay with whatever we go with, but I could see with like putting this to staff and having staff come back with a report or something to that level, or what? Councillor Connett?
Yeah, but if, all you're saying is I went to a meeting and that over here, I mean, you're not bringing out any report, so I mean, what's the big, I'm all for what Dan says, just don't need to write a book.
Yeah, no,
Councillor Corbin?
yeah, I agree with Dan too. I think it's just redundant and we don't need to
So
go over.
so we're gonna go to meetings and we're not gonna report back what we did at a meeting to the rest of us.
So this second half of this motion is that council members may provide updates at their discretion. So as somebody that does sit on a committee, I will be providing an update about the committee and the undertakings at those meetings.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Just so that we're, administration is clear as to what Counselor Stevens and the rest of council are asking for. Counselor Stevens, are you suggesting that if members of council have reports for information to share, that they come to council agendas in a written form when the agendas are published? Or are you suggesting that if they have something to share, they just share it verbally at that meeting?
Counselor
Sure.
Stevens.
Yeah, so the second part of this motion is that council may submit written updates to be included under staff reports or other appropriate section at their discretion. So written.
Thank you.
For the agenda.
Great, thank you. That clears me up. Thank you.
Okay, any other
I
discussion,
just want to
Counselor
say,
Herman?
I like that because it's then in the report, so people that get the agenda before a meeting, they can read it themselves and we don't spend the time saying it. I'm good with that.
Okay. Can you read that one more time and then we'll vote on it?
Sure, so the motion is that council directs staff to bring forward a proposed amendment to council procedure bylaw to remove council reports as a standing item on regular meeting agendas, and that individual council members may submit written updates to be included under staff reports or another appropriate section at their discretion.
Okay. Oh, but. Oh, it's,
That's quick.
well, there it is on the screen. Okay, all in favor? And that's carried. 8.2 fees and charges amendment bylaw 951/2025. The bylaws received first, second, and third reading. Council may adopt the bylaw. What's council's wishes, Councilor Stevens?
Yeah, I move that fees and charges amendment bylaw number 951-2025 be adopted.
Seconded by Councilor Herman. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. 8.3 Waterworks Amendment Bylaw 952/2025. This bylaw has also received first, second, and third readings. Council may now adopt the bylaw. Councilor Torban,
I'll move that the Waterworks Amendment Bylaw 952/2025 be adopted.
seconded by Councilor Herman. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. 8.4 Sanitary Sewer Amendment Bylaw 953/2025. This bylaw has received first, second, and third readings. Council may now adopt this bylaw. Councilor Herman,
I move that sanitary sewer amendment bylaw number 953-2025 be adopted.
seconded by Councilor Torban. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. And now we get to 8.5 temporary use permit. There's a report from the Director of Operations, but CAO, do you wanna say anything about this at this time, or should I just let the proponent speak first?
A recap of the Director of Corporate Operations' report. Basically, in his report, he's saying that this is a way to allow a zoning amendment, which is not permanent. It's basically a trial. We are staff under Section 493 of the Local Government Act can recommend to council a temporary use permit for something that is basically not permitted in the zoning bylaw, so it's a non-conforming use. We can put controls on a situation. We have not recommended that at this time, as we do feel, or we're of the opinion that this application is submitted in good faith. And a 2-year term is suggested. We could offer, or we could recommend a 3-year term, a 1-year term, but a 2-year term is being recommended as a trial. And if during that 2-year term there are any issues brought up by any of the residents, that we would bring it back to council for consideration of either some kind of restrictions or controls or revoking the permit.
I just,
Councilor Torban?
before we start on this, it says that this permit expires in 2025. Should that be 2027?
Yes, correct, Counselor Torbaum, that should be 2027.
So I have to make an amendment.
Well, if we make this motion,
And may I say also to Mr. Mayor and to council that if you make the motion to provide it for a 2-year term, we will make the correction to that document before it's submitted to land titles.
okay,
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, it says 3 years on the letter.
yeah,
No, the proposal, the
So-
motion is for 2 years.
well, we can make any motion we want, but,
The recommendation.
so 8.5, I'm gonna give the proponent a chance to speak at this time, so Dr. Ben Robinson,
Yes,
would you have a,
sure. Can I turn
great
the
to see,
chair? or-
first of all, great to see you here, and
Yes, thanks for having me.
everything, yeah.
And thanks for, again, your time, just, and all the concerns brought forward. I did have a chance to read your letter. And, I won't give the summary again, as you guys have heard kind of the purpose of this motion. And I understand your concerns, like 100%. If I were in your guys' seats, I would be thinking the same thing, right? This is a completely new idea to bring to Chase, and I respect the privacy and the desire to keep, especially that lakefront private and quiet. So it is a risk, and it's a risk on both our parts. It's a risk on your part, that's understandable. It's a risk on my part as well, because I don't have necessarily a solid business. Like, this isn't designed to be a big money maker for me. I'm just gonna say that right now. In an ideal world, this is, in my future plans, this is used for locum physicians, nurse practitioners, residents, nurses to come in, and then I get to use it privately as well for my own purposes. Being in the early career that I'm in right now, I just need to have a plan B and an ability to be able to generate some income if I need to. I can't write anything in stone right now because I just haven't even purchased the property yet. This is very much in the air. So, there's a lot of uncertainty here, and I think the temporary use permit is the way to go for exactly that reason. There's a way to have an ongoing discussion, and just as it was mentioned, if there are problems, it's going to be brought forward to council. You guys have the ability to revoke the permit. That is the risk I am taking, because I am potentially purchasing this property, and if I lose that ability, then that does put me in a little bit of a bind. And again, I'm still considering all this. Nothing is set in stone. But regarding a lot of your guys' concerns, there is that I feel like the temporary use permit explanation with the ability to bring it up to council to revoke the permit does cover you for that. My goal is not to be, I want to say that I'm not some Vancouver guy that's coming over here and buying a lakefront property. I work in Chase. I've been here part of the community. I've been serving Chase for 6-7 years. I have a reputation to keep up. Like, my intention is not to tick off half the town. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. That would affect my professional life as well. So I just want to encourage and try to say as much as I can that my goal is not to abuse this, and I respect your guys' concerns, and if this motion is passed on, I look forward to ongoing communication. I'm prepared to log, guests, what kind of health professionals come through, et cetera, for presentation. But again, I know there's still some uncertainty there. Before I pass it on, I just also want to mention something about this. I know Dr. Cornell Bernard's name is on this permit, so he's the current owner. And I just want to say that just to be 100% clear, this is my plan. This is my plan with the permit to be used by local physicians. I cannot speak for Dr. Bernard. I don't know where this permit would land if the sale doesn't go through. So I just wanted to be clear that although, just because my name isn't actually on the permit, that this is, I'm speaking for myself, I can't speak for Dr. Bernard. And I do think that this permit should not be passed on if there's another buyer, like this cannot be passed on to an alternative buyer. And then secondly, I just wanted to make a request that if this motion were to pass, because the time period is now shortened to 2 years, I request that if it were to pass, that the permit be effective October 1st, not effective immediately, as the purchase, as far as the purchase, the logistics, establishing it, I just don't see it being available or used for any sort of locum physician or any rental until that time anyways. So that would be my one request.
Okay, thank you. You'll have a more chance to speak if you wish. There's just a couple things that you mentioned. You said, doctor, you said you'd like to use it for nurses and privately. Is that mean you're not gonna allow the public to use it?
So, no, again, this is where a bit of the uncertainty lies. My primary intent is to use it for healthcare professionals. And that wouldn't be through some sort of public service. We don't think of Airbnb, we don't think of VRBO, that sort of thing. So this would be through Interior Health or the Rural GP Locum Program that has funding for healthcare professionals to come in. So that would be arranged through my medical office, so Sarah, my office manager, arranges a lot of the locum physicians, and we would reach out and say, hey, we have this place for you to stay, and so that's essentially how we would make arrangements. It wouldn't be through some sort of platform. So that's, sorry for the miscommunication there, Mr. Mayor, but does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay.
The other one I have is to our CAO, before I open it up.
Yes,
CAO.
go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Well, the other thing the doctor mentioned was revoking this permit. Are you able at this time to elaborate on, is there a way of council to do this, or would we do it, or how would we do it, or if we would do it?
So, Mr. Mayor, and to council members and to the gallery, basically, if there's actually two things I'd like to mention on this part. So if throughout the time of this temporary use permit, things go awry, let's say, and the neighbors say, hey, wait a minute, there's all these parties and it's destroying our peace and enjoyment of our own properties, we can bring the issue back to council to have council consider revoking the permit. We would not just for frivolous things, but for legitimate concerns that are raised by the neighboring property owners. So at any time, if there's any issues that are brought to our attention that are legitimate, we can come back to council. We can try and resolve them, and if we can't resolve them, then we can come back to council and say we recommend that this permit be revoked. The other thing I'd like to also mention is I understand Dr. Robinson would like the permit not to be effective until October 1st, which is completely fine, and council can actually has the power to not have it come into effect until October 1st.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Torbonne?
I have one question for the CEO. Right now, the way the motion reads, it's just a permit, but it's issued to Dr. Bernard, who is not directly applying for the permit. So can we have the motion contingent on the property being sold to Dr. Robinson?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
So good dog.
Sorry to interrupt again. Sorry, particularly because of the intention of this property sale going through to Dr. Robinson.
Is that something you think would work, Dr. Robinson?
Yes, I think that would work. On my side of things, it makes no difference to me. I haven't really had much communication with Dr. Bernard about what his intentions, his plans are. Obviously, he wants the house to sell. Whether or not he has intent to use it for short-term rentals or a similar plan as I do, I won't speak for him. So I leave it up to council to make that decision.
Anything else for council before we ask for other people at this time?
No, if we make that amendment to the motion, I think that would clear up a lot.
Okay, so I'll open it up to if there's anybody in the gallery that wishes to speak at this time. Just state your name and, start your name and address, please.
Linda Kynott, 315
Okay.
Lakeshore.
Thank you.
I just want, like, if you look at the calendar for the amount of times a locum or someone is in the properties, like 30 to 50 times in the 352 days, to issue that for that few of people, what happened to 2 years ago when we were asked to submit our names for you to put together places for locums to stay in the community? I know we put our name forward and never heard anything back from it. Like, and that, why isn't there a list of 4 or 5 approved accommodation spots for locums to choose their own spot to come and stay in? And I just want clarification that the permit doesn't go with the property, it should go with whoever owns, like, because that opens up all kinds of things to come down. I think it would be very nice for a locum to be able to choose between 4 or 5 approved places to stay in this village.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Okay, is there anybody else that wants to speak? Okay,
go ahead, Heather.
Well,
okay,
I'm
name and address,
Heather
please.
Strack.
Yeah.
And I'm at 317 Lakeshore.
Thank you.
And I have some concerns because I listened to Ben here now and he's saying that if it was to be put forward, that it would be in his name, not in Bernard's name, because he would be the one that would be committing himself. Right now, I have issues as it stands right now with the current owner that I have been maintaining property line since 2019 with no help from them at all. And I just feel that I can't go on doing that. And so my concern was what kind of property management? We have 2 doctors not going to be living in town, and who's going to be looking and managing the property in it? So that's my concern. I also was concerned about the number of locums that we're talking here. I also wanted to ask council why you publicized a map in the paper that shows that the property at 317 Lakeshore doesn't even have a building on it. It's been there since 2017, so you publicize this out, and my home is not even on there at all. So I don't understand that, why if we're being open and honest to everybody, that why that we've used a map that's so old and so doesn't reflect what's happening and whatnot. And then I was concerned also with the publication that was made in the Castanet, which indicated that the idea was that it was going to be rented as a holiday home, like an additional rental besides the locums, and that's what I was concerned. How do we control that? How do we know, they're going to come and they're going to bring their whole family and we're going to be stuck there 50 cars around, whatever. I'm exaggerating right now, but that was one of the concerns that I had. So, I guess that's part of the thing is that, is the maintenance, because when we have fire season here and when we have wood chips and stuff being knocked over to my property, and then I have to send my challenged brother out to go and sweep them up because they're not being taken care of. And I thought the 3 years was way too long for a trial period. So, short-term rental restriction, if it's been, those are some of my concerns.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Hi,
Who
I'm
wants to-
Debbie Cullinan, 323 Lakeshore. We live directly next door to the property. When we first moved here, the property on the other side of us was short-term rental, which was allowed in the village at that time. My understanding is that was discontinued. We disallowed short-term rentals in the village for a number of reasons, and one of them was the impact that it has on the community in the long term. If short-term rentals are allowed, then we start to lose citizens, we lose families, we become become a vacation community. My understanding is that was one of the reasons why it was discontinued in the first place. And unfortunately, this proposal feels like, you know, another way to implement short-term rentals on a property that hasn't sold yet. Definitely in favor of looking after a way to look after locums, provide a nice environment for them, encourage them to come to Chase. I'm not sure that a $1.5 million property is required for that. Yeah, so as a direct neighbor, we're definitely not in favor of anything that would be bringing regular changes to our neighbors. We've had that experience, we've had both good and bad experiences. What happens is people are there on vacation for a short term. We're just regular residents going about our business, and they're in party mode or just in, can I borrow this, or do you mind if I, you know, use your dock, you mind, you know, it can be invasive. We've tried it, been there, and yeah, I hope you'll, one of the questions I have for, am I allowed to ask a question of council? My question would be, why are you in favor of it? What is driving council to, well, you've already amended it by 1 year, which tells me you're kind of in favor of it, unless I'm reading that wrong. I'd like to know why. Thank you.
Okay, so the CAO has actually let me know she wishes to speak on this, but just from what I know, like, we're not in favor of anything right now. Right, an applicant comes forward, makes a presentation, they pay their money, goes out to the public, and now it comes.
So it's not an indicator of any.
So the CAO just wanted to comment. CAO, did you
Yeah.
have some comments?
Yeah, just to add, or just to clarify, Mr. Mayor, to anyone in the gallery and to council, that basically council has not amended a 1-year term to a 2-year term. There was an error in the agenda package on the draft temporary use permit. So what is being requested and recommended is a 2-year trial. And I guess the other thing I'd like to clarify is that, yes, Deb is correct. Deb Callanan is correct that we didn't restrict short-term rentals. We changed how short-term rentals were actually administered. This particular situation, and our planner feels that this is a different sort of situation, and that's why he's recommending a temporary use permit.
Okay, Councillor Corwin?
I just want to bring up something, the items that you suggested with the rentals. Now, I, myself being a person that actually rented these places in other communities, I've never seen a problem with that type of stuff going on. I mean, it could happen, but it's not something that goes on all the time. I guarantee you that people that rent these places, they pay a lot of money and they have a little respect for the places they rent. And I know that for a fact because I'm one of those person that rents those places.
I never saw you renting my neighbor's house.
And anyways, you know, I take offense to that's the way you look at it, but.
But I think you
You know,
have
people
to look.
just wait for everybody's turn, please, otherwise we'll. Councillor Corwin has the floor at the moment.
That's just my comment, is not everybody treats those places like that. And this isn't something new. This is going on in other communities, specifically at a smaller community. Osoyoos does it. They rent their places on the lake to other people. It's hasn't been a problem there. Just a minute, not your turn. But anyways, so that's just, you know, I mean that's yours is one person's opinion, right? But it's not the way it goes all the time.
Okay, is there anybody else who wants to speak at this time? Is there? Go ahead. Deb, did you?
Well, I'd like to apologize if I offended you. That was not my intent. However, I was speaking from experience. And there must have been some good reason why the council at the time didn't want short-term rentals here. And has that changed? Does that leave the door wide open now?
Well, actually, we still have short-term rentals.
It obviously does for you.
Well, we have short-term rentals. There's,
A month or more.
there's bed and breakfast in town, they're all short-term rentals. So we do still have them. They're not gone.
Those have residents.
Yeah.
If you wanna speak, put your hand up and we'll do it in the proper order, just so we. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I just wanted to imply that you have to look at the property that this is on. There's 60 feet of shared driveway on this property. It's a totally different thing, and these homeowners can vouch by it too. Like, you have to share a driveway, that's equal. It's hard enough to police all the things and to be respectful of each other's plots on that piece of property. So when you have somebody that doesn't know all that and is gonna be renting it, that's where the problem comes.
Okay. You're next, and then the doctor.
Well, I still feel the same way that I just feel that we're all taxpayers here in this area and we have a problem with this and we are expressing it to council and we want to know why. Like, I mean, I just feel, why would you want to do that? And there's maybe other avenues in the village that could be looked at first. And that we still don't know who's buying it, we don't know who's going to be the one that would be using it, and I agree with Linda, it's the traffic and the parking and the cleanup and whatnot around there.
Okay, doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I would, there's a lot of issues to address there, and so I'm trying to organize it all in my mind. I'd love to just sit one-on-one with you guys, each individually, and just have a chat about it. So number one as to why, this isn't just a short-term rental, you know, this is again, just emphasizing this is a unique scenario and an opportunity for recruitment. And so I really hope this doesn't open the floodgates of short-term rentals in the whole strip, really. I think that's not the goal here. I will say that, you know, for those of you that live on the lake, it's a beautiful spot, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's a big purchase and everything. But as one who just recently went through residency and went through being recruited actively, like I jumped all over the province of BC, small town to small town. And the heavily, you know, where you're heavily influenced is how the local doctors treat you and show you the town. And so right now, our local physicians, which are primarily local Kamloops doctors that are just barely keeping us, you know, going here, to be able to expand that to physicians through the UBC residency program, through across the province to say, hey, look, we have a property here, come work with us, stay on the lake. I think that's a unique opportunity. Right now, our doctors, they used to stay at Quiet Lodge, which is another beautiful spot as well. Right now, they're staying at the local motels. And so I just want to be able to provide something that's a little bit more intimate, that, you know, this is, and I think there's a huge draw there. I think that's why the council should consider this being a very unique situation rather than just another short-term rental. As far as, you know, the maintenance of the property, Heather, yeah, I mean, I would like to say that that's, with a new buyer, like, you don't know who's gonna purchase this property. And that comes with just being human, like, you don't know, you could have someone who takes excellent care and respects the property lines, or you could have someone that you are committing to, you know, years, who doesn't respect the property line. That is part of the uncertainty of having someone else coming in and buying it. I know it sounds like just not physically, it means I might have less incentive to take care of the property, but all I can say is that won't be the case. Like, I take particular care of my own property. I love it. I love gardening. I love keeping things neat and tidy. My wife is very organized in that way too. And so I would like to take pride in the place and the beautiful spot that you guys have. And all I can say is that's word of mouth course, I don't know the details around the property line conflict, so I won't speak to that. And as for the driveway and the easement, I mean, when it comes to short-term rentals, I still don't know a ton about it, but there is, you know, dedicated parking spots that you have to apply for with a lot of these programs. It's that easement along the side, my understanding is that it is half owned by the Bernards and half owned by next door neighbors, I'm not sure who that is. And so it's split right down the middle, and I know you guys have come to an understanding that you just decided to share that driveway. You know, if this motion were to pass and if the property be purchased, you know, I'd be happy to discuss that more, and I'd like to think I'm fairly reasonable with that. I'm not one that likes to stir up conflict at all. This whole scenario makes me uncomfortable. And so but again, I totally understand your guys' concerns. I get it. I just hope for the opportunity to prove to you guys that I can be a good neighbor.
If you live there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, just make sure you put your hand, if you wanna speak, put your hand up, please. So we have, someone in the back there,
Brooke from 315 Lakeshore.
thank you.
Biggest concern that I have is, I'll give you a few stories here. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm off to work. Doctor had a big party, got my trailer hooked up, I've unhooked my trailer 3 times for my truck to get on my driveway because of where they parked. I can go bang on his door at 5 o'clock in the morning. If it's somebody else, I'm banging on the door. Like if it's a short-term rental, or I don't care who's over there now, if it's not a short-term rental, I'm gonna lay on my horn and tell him to wake them all up. I did not do that this time because it was dark and rain. I know, but man, they don't know where to park. And he's been there for years and they still don't know where to park. They're all over the place. That becomes my problem. And you guys don't think it's your problem, it's my problem. You guys are dropping all this in my lap. I share a driveway with these guys and they still don't know where to park. Bring a boat, where are they gonna park the boat trailer? Right up in front of my lot, I won't even be able to get out of my driveway, my other driveway. Even if I put signs up there, they park there. These people are gonna come here, locums, I do not have a problem with what you're doing. I totally get where you're coming from and I get where they're getting it from. It's a good idea to bring doctors to come in and give them a $1.5 million place to rent for a week. It's a great idea, but I know for a fact that he's not gonna get enough use and then he's gonna have to do short-term rental. That's my problem, not your problem. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's always interesting when you have a shared driveway that makes things trickier. Is it Councillor Herman?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I agree with Ben, this whole thing makes me uncomfortable because there's so many people in the gallery that I know and care about. But the whole temporary part and the part about revoking the permit is the big part of this. If this property were to sell to someone else, say you didn't buy it, someone else bought it, you could have way more problems and no way of getting rid of them. Whereas we have that ability to, with a temporary permit, if there's bylaw infractions, we can revoke that permit. So then it can sell and whoever moves in. I mean, you may get, when it sells, how do you know what kind of a neighbor you're going to get, right? If it's not, I think it's.
So are you saying the permit goes with?
Just wait for your time,
No.
please.
No, I'm not.
We'll give you a chance.
I'm just saying, sorry, I'm just saying that if this is a good trial thing for us, it is a chance for us to bring doctors, locums, people to, and I know you guys have done some research obviously and figure that there are not people using this, but we don't have anywhere else in Chase for any of them to stay and like in a hotel. Nobody's lined up to offer their house to anybody. So I feel like this is a good trial period for 2 years with the fact that we can revoke that permit at any time. And then it's up to Dr. Robinson to either sell or do whatever he wants with it after. But we pull that permit away and that's just my opinion.
So just so everybody knows, I'm letting everybody speak way more because this is interesting. So Linda, you had a question?
Well, I'm just confused, does the permit go with the property or
No.
with a particular owner?
The owner.
With the owner, we can set conditions. We could also set conditions for a property management person to
But
run
like
it
if
if we
another
wanted
person
to.
was to purchase that, at least that person is a resident and it's not a business being plunked in the middle of a residential area. Because basically,
Yes.
by doing that, it's a business being plunked into the middle of a residential area. And as far as I know, Interior Health only pays a certain stipends to each locum for an overnight stay anywhere. And what is the value of a $1.5 million home stay per night? Like, they're not, like, they have a maximum amount they pay locums to stay somewhere. And I have offered my place before.
Okay, thank you. Heather, did your hand go up?
Yeah, the current situation that it is right now, I mean, we have a problem with the current person right now. And if that is granted to them, because that's what the motion is saying, then I am not in favor because I just don't feel that it's going to be supported, adhered to.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak? Doctors? Doctor, you're up first.
And I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but I'm just kind of thinking of ideas as we're discussing. You know, you guys mentioned at one point that you were considering purchasing a property. I guess that's through the village itself and their funds for a locum physician. And I'm just thinking, is there any way this is just spitballing here. Is there any chance that the village would be interested in renting this building from, say, myself, reserving it completely, and therefore a potential steady income for myself, no short-term rentals outside of locums and physicians, it's reserved completely for locum physicians and myself privately, and that's it. I'm, again, just coming up with an idea where there is some sort of financial security for myself without having to use short-term rentals at all. And again, I'm just expressing this as a potential. I don't know. I don't want to put that pressure on the village at all. That's something that would have to be a discussion in the future if this were ever to go through. But and I'm just trying to display my openness to trying to figure a way around this to accommodate and make people feel more comfortable with the decision. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay, and there's one more person that wants to speak and, two.
Steffi Tim, 321 Lakeshore Drive. I guess there's been a lot of chatter talk, everyone's kind of expressed their opinions, and I think it would be helpful if there was clarity on what the actual motion would read right now. Is the motion for it to be the property? Is the motion for it to be Dr. Robinson's? Is it the 2-year, the 3-year, the 1 year? I think it would provide some clarity if there was an actual motion on the floor that represented the discussion that had happened here so far, not the original motion.
And so, can the CAO help with that one? Because there is no motion at this time. We've just kind of opened this up
Make a motion.
to everybody.
Do you wanna make the motion?
Somebody,
I can make the motion.
okay?
I'll just make the motion that council issue a temporary use permit that would allow short-term rental as a primary residential use for an initial term of 2 years, and that the motion be contingent on Dr. Robinson purchasing the property.
And the seconder, Councillor Stevens, discussion?
But,
Do you want to go first?
Yeah,
Councillor Stevens?
the only discussion I have is that we make it effective October 1st, 2025.
Okay, this-
Yeah, we can just add that on then.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, CAO, did you want to say something?
no, Councillor Stevens beat me to it.
Oh. Can you read that again, because there was an amendment in there?
Okay, the council issue a temporary use permit that would allow short-term rental as a primary residential use for an initial term of 2 years, which is contingent on the property being purchased by Dr. Robinson, and that the term start October 1st, 2025.
Okay, any discussion on that?
Mr. Mayor, I think, do we have a seconder for that motion?
I'll second it.
We did initially.
No, but,
Counselor Torban made a motion and then it was amended to include October 1st.
Thank you.
So call him a second.
So what do you need? CAO?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, so discussion? So it's just council now at this time.
I just wondered, is there any
Counselor
other
Herman?
contingencies we want to add to that, like property maintenance or anything like that?
You can add that in the permit, I
In
think.
the permit?
Yeah.
CAO, can we add property maintenance?
You can, but council has to include it in the resolution. We can't just arbitrarily include any requirements unless council includes them in the resolution.
So how, Counselor Stevens?
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable putting any more restrictions on this. I think that it just, I think there's a lot of homeowner disputes here that are not necessarily the procedure of council. I think that, the shared driveways and things like that, can be discussed amongst the owners. And, I don't think that putting a maintenance bylaw or anything else like that, or a maintenance, policy rather, into this motion, supports what the overall objective is. I think that, yeah, I'd be really a little worried that, maybe we'd be opening the door to put maintenance permits on other homes. So, we do have bylaws that look after cleanliness and yard maintenance and things like that, and I believe that they're there for a reason.
Any other discussion from council? Okay, see none, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thanks, everybody, for that. This was tricky. Number 9.1, solid waste amendment, number 954, 2025. There's a report from the Director of Corporate Operations. What's council's wishes with this one? 9.1.
Make the motion.
Counselor Stevens?
Yeah, I move that council give first, second, and third reading to the solid waste amendment bylaw number 954-2025.
Have a seconder, Counselor Corbon. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? That's carried. 9.2, Art Golden Memorial Arena Level 1 Energy Audit Summary Report. There's a recommendation there. Counselor Stevens?
Sure, I move that the report from Falcon Engineering on the level 1 energy audit and ice making operational assessment be received for information.
Seconded. Counselor Corbon, discussion. All in favor? That's carried. Notice of motion. Anybody have a notice?
Yeah, I do. At the next regular meeting, I'll be bringing forward a notice of motion to ask council to direct administration to bring back a report on cost to fix the Pine Street crossing. The train crossing for clarity.
Number 11, there's no one in camera. Number 12, there's a release of an in-camera item, so the following resolution has been released from in-camera. Resolution 2025-05-13 IC 003 to dissolve the existing partnering agreement between the village and the Chase Recreation Society Center with considerations for a new agreement with the Rec Society to reflect other needs for the arena and the community in general in terms of recreation opportunities, and that the village contact directly with a contractor to operate the arena. And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor Corbon, Councilor Stevens, all in favor? Thank you.